That's awesome. Okay. So one of my first jobs was at the local pharmacy, and the man that owned the business was this angry little fellow that walked around with a scowl on his face. So that got me. And no matter how long I worked there, or how good I was at my job, whenever he was working, I screwed up everything I touched. I never felt like he was necessarily mean to me, but he was intimidating. He never instilled any confidence in me, and I never felt so stupid or inept in my whole life as when he was working. So I may not have understood what made a good leader back then, but I knew what did not. And I knew that when he was working, I hated going to work. I was screwing everything up. So, cut to my own leadership style. This may come as a bit of a shock to some of you that have gotten to know me a little bit, but I'm a little bit of a control freak. A little bit. And I've always kind of had the tendency to take the lead in most situations. I've never really been one to kind of follow the pack. I like to lead it. But does that desire alone make a good leader? Simon Sinek breaks it down simply and beautifully when he says, there are leaders and there are those who lead. Leaders hold a position of power and authority, but those who lead inspire us to follow. I envision my first boss very much like the former. Figure of power and authority, belting out orders to a collection of robots who blindly do what they're told because they have to, but who mostly live in fear and resentment. When I started working as a personal trainer, I suppose I was also approaching my work very much in this way. Clients came to me wanting to transform their bodies. I knew the exact things they needed to do to achieve the outcome they wanted, so I gave them plans, my instructions. You don't even have to think. Just do everything in your plan exactly as outlined. In an ideal world, that would work great. But there were two problems with that. First of all, looking back, it may have been a little bit selfish. See, I knew that I could produce jaw-dropping results beyond anything anybody else around here had probably seen. And I knew that the better results that I got from my clients, the more praise I would receive for being awesome. And I knew that that would result in getting more clients. But that's not leadership. That's kind of ego, right? But the other problem with that is we don't live in an ideal world. Most people, particularly when it comes to things like diet and exercise, are just really terrible at doing what they're told. That was 9 years ago when I first became a trainer. And thankfully, I have learned and grown a lot since then. Speaking of learning, frankly, I found learning about the dozens of different leadership styles for this project to be mind-numbingly boring. I don't mind telling you. But what I noticed was it was making me think about what kind of leader I wanted to be. I already sort of knew where my strengths and weaknesses were, but on a deeper level, beyond where I was strong, where I was weak, I seriously considered, how do I want to express leadership roles in my life? I really don't want to be the kind of leader who passes out orders to a bunch of mindless robots, all just following directions because they have to in order to achieve a certain result. Because no matter who we're leading, it's easy to forget that humans aren't robots. We're emotional beings with complicated thoughts, motivations or lack thereof, habits, behaviors, and beliefs about ourselves that often hold us back from living up to our potential at work and in life. I aspire, through example and experience, to inspire those around me to step into their own genius, their own potential, and their own power, to make a difference, to shape a better future. I have a very clear vision for that better future. And what I want to show people is, here is where I was, here's where I am, here's where I'm going. If that speaks to you, let me help show you the path that I'm forging. Together, we can create this better future for the next generation. Which brought me to the concept of transformational leadership. Often when I think about leaders, I think of old bosses, much like I already spoke of. Tell people what to do, check that it's been done, tell them how they screwed it up, tell them what to do next or how not to screw it up again the next time. But I can't help feeling like that's just a recipe for mediocrity. 250,000 people showed up at the 1963 March on Washington for Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech. Not because he spoke from intimidation and power, and with directions to be followed, but because he spoke of his vision, his dream. He spoke with passion, and he summoned emotion and passion in those who followed. He empowered people to believe in the possibility of a better future and their own power to help create it. I believe no matter where we come from, every single man, woman, and child on this planet has Martin Luther King level talent and potential. I believe we all have infinite potential to create massive good in the world and societal change on a grand scale. Just like that. But for most of us, we get stuck hiding under the crushing weight of shame, fear, judgment that our broken society programs into us as we grow up. I've seen this my entire life. People with incredible voices, awe-inspiring talent, powerful stories of survival, dreams of a better future. Even those who don't yet know their own gifts. Just all purposely playing small and hiding behind stories of shame and fear. Who am I to do something extraordinary? Who am I to make a mark on the world? Who am I to lead? I can't speak. I can't write. I can't lead. I can't. Transformational leadership leads from a place of empowerment and mutual vision. By empowering people to claim ownership over that greater vision. Coaching them to build the confidence needed to step into their own ability to learn, to grow and find solutions. Allowing them to step into their own power and inspiring them to live in pursuit of its achievement. We create much more valuable assets and a more powerful society in general than just having a bunch of people who can only take directions. Martin Luther King is a prime example of the power of the transformational leadership style. And while I'm certainly no Dr. King, this is the style I aspire to. 4 key takeaways from this powerful approach that I've learned are, rather than telling people what to do, talk about outcomes you want to achieve. Mobilize and motivate in order to create change or achieve the seemingly impossible. Lead by example. And coach people to success. To close, I'll leave you with one more quote, this time by Jack Welch. He says, "Before you are a leader, success is all about growing yourself. When you become a leader, success is all about growing others." Thank you.
Awesome job. Ralph, you got to go up there.
So this is the podcast. Transformational